Good morning, family and friends. Bonjour et bienvenue. Before we listen to the first song, I'd like to read what's on the mortuary card for you. Love lives on. Those we love remain with us, for love itself lives on. And cherished memories never fade because the loved one's gone. Those we love can never be more than a thought apart, for as long as there is memory, they'll live on in our hearts. Let us listen to the first song entitled, Take Me Home.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. All my memories gather round her, miner's lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. I hear her voice in the morning hours, she calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads, country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads, take me home, country roads, take me home, country roads.
Good afternoon, family and friends. 7 months ago, we met. We were together to celebrate the life of a wonderful wife, mother, and grandmother, Mrs. Marie McGregor. Today, we are reunited one more time to celebrate the life of Mr. Chester McGregor, loving husband of Marie. And coincidentally, Marie passed away on July 14th, Chester, February 13th, almost 7 months to the day. Marie's funeral was on July 22nd, and today we are February 21st. Coincident, but not one that we wish for. With heavy hearts, we will proudly celebrate the life of Chester with songs, eulogies, pictures, and readings. Souvenons-nous de tous nos défunts, de tous ceux qui ont eu une place importante dans nos vies. Nous ne saurions les oublier. Dans le silence, évoquons ces êtres chers qui nous ont aidés à devenir ce que nous sommes. I would like to offer my sincere sympathies to the family, his sons Glenn and Danielle, to his granddaughter Melissa and her partner Adam, who are joining us virtually, as well as many other members of the families and friends from various parts of the country are joining us virtually today. To his grandson Michael and Julie, to his great-granddaughters Addison and Camille, aux membres de la famille et aux amis qui se joignent à nous, de façon virtuelle ou ici au salon, bienvenue et acceptez mes sincères condoléances. Today we will share our feelings rather than deny them. Today is the time to cry, to reflect and to grieve, surrounded by family and friends. This is the reason for a funeral. The loss of someone we love dearly is always a sad and overwhelming feeling. We are never ready to say goodbye. And no matter what the age of our loved one is, when they are called home, we feel it is always too soon. Par cette célébration, nous demandons à Chester de nous donner le courage de retrouver l'espoir et le réconfort. Nous sommes ensemble pour entourer la famille de notre affection, notre sympathie et notre amitié. The candle which you notice is burning beside the urn is in Chester's memory. We cherish the special place that will be reserved in our hearts for him. And the candle can give us warmth, courage, and strength. And it can also represent an angel who looks over us to keep us safe. Before the second song, I would like to share with you a poem. If you take the strength of a mountain, the majesty of a tree, the warmth of a summer sun, the calm of a quiet sea, the generous soul of nature, the comforting arm of night, the wisdom of the ages, and the power of the eagle's flight. If you take the joy of a morning in spring, the faith of a mustard seed, the patience of eternity, and the depth of a family need. When you combine these qualities, and there's nothing more to add, your masterpiece is complete, and you can call him Dad. So we will start the eulogies with, I'm going to invite Glenn to share with us his eulogy.
Hello, everyone. Chester was a good father. He raised his kids right. He raised 4 kids on a corporal's salary, and that was back in the 60s. We were living in CFB Bagotville, Quebec, in PMQs, that's private married quarters, and I remember he would come home from work from the base to make us lunch. Things like smoked beef sandwiches and sardines. A can of sardines was 10 cents back then. I guess caviar was too expensive. He was considered by many to be a kind and gentle man. In fact, the PSWs and nurses at the Pearly loved Dad because he was so easy to get along with. He was usually in a good mood and joked with them. I've had some serious health challenges of my own, and my parents allowed me to stay with them when I needed it, and for that, I'm grateful. I repaid that kindness, at least in part, by giving up my weekends for a year and a half to assist them, both my parents, while they were living in our condo. They were getting visits from social services on weekdays, but when I discovered there was no help on weekends, I stepped in. There was no way my mother could have taken care of my dad alone. I also wish to thank Helen, my sister, for taking care of my parents for over a year. She would spend her weeknights, before she passed away, she would spend her weeknights at the condo, so I see that as a perfect example of raising kids right, that took care of us when we needed it, and we returned it when they needed us. So I was trying to figure out what I would write, and so I reflected back on some moments my dad and I experienced and fondly remembered. One of them was my dad and I decided to pay for the Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather pay-per-view, if you remember that one, in 2017. We had no idea the actual fight would begin at 1 a.m. We stayed up all night to watch that fight. But you know, he managed to do it. He managed to stay up until that time. It's a good thing that it only lasted 6 rounds. He loved watching movies and TV shows. For example, like the new Lost in Space on Netflix, which he watched over and over and over again. I often told him how lucky he was because every show he watched was for the first time. The same with, I would often tell him, you know, every day's Sunday for you. I remember a very fond time when Danny, Dad, and I went whitewater rafting on the Gatineau River. In fact, you can see a picture there on the slideshow. That was a great time. I remember he was in his 50s, but he was talking about actually taking the bungee jump, because I offered a bungee jump there with the whitewater rafting, and I don't remember if he actually took it. My brother reminded me that he didn't. I think my mom was very nervous about that and probably convinced him not to do it. But that just goes to show you how adventurous he was, and that was in his 50s. I wouldn't have done it. I'd also like to say that I believe that quality of life is very important. It's just not how long you live. My dad's quality of life was, at the end there, was not too good, it was deteriorating. I think he was ready, and I know that he missed Mom. I sincerely believe that he is happy and at peace now. I did visit him on his last day and wished him peace and love. In closing, I would like to read the simple but heartfelt note my mother wrote to her husband of 60 plus years, which in of itself was a remarkable feat and has become rare these days. And it reads the following. So I have here the little note. Chester, if you read this, it means that I'm already gone. I just want to remind you that I will always love you. Hope you remember me and that you take good care of yourself. I'm sorry I'm having trouble writing because of the shaking. Very frustrating. Hope you see the kids more often. See you up there, Marie. Thank you.
That is very special. Thank you so very much for that. Takes a lot of courage as well to write that letter. Wow. Very strong. Very strong woman, couple, husband, family. Michael, if you would kindly share with us the eulogy about your grandfather.
My wife and I, Julie, thank you all for being with us today. For those who don't know me, my name is Michael, the grandson of Chester. Although a sad time for many, we are here today to celebrate the life of this wonderful man. I am certain that if he were still here with us today, he wouldn't want us to share grief and sorrow, but instead, he would want us to reflect back on those many great memories and joyful experiences we all had the pleasure of sharing with him over the years. Grandpa was one of the kindest men I've ever met. He would give you the shirt off his back. His generosity was limitless. He was a smart man and worked hard for everything he had. He didn't judge others or criticize different ways of life. Plain and simple, he wanted everyone to be happy. And through his optimistic and positive outlook on life, he most definitely succeeded. Although a part of me remains sad on this day, there is happiness in my heart knowing that he is now with my amazing grandmother Marie, my mother Helen, and my uncle Robert, along with the rest of his fallen family and friends. I am sure that they are holding a very special spot for such an incredible man somewhere in the depths of heaven. I have many fond memories of my grandfather, from the many sleepover visits as a child to celebrating the biggest and best holiday events, all hosted by my forever working, always welcoming grandparents. Nothing made my grandparents happier than to host a family gathering. I recall their photo book collection, always capturing the great memories we'd share as a family over the many years. Photos of my sister and I as babies, kids, teenagers, and adults. Family was everything to them. My grandpa would always ensure that he stocked up on peppermint candies before my sister and I would arrive for a visit. It was a staple in the McGregor household. To this day, anytime I see a peppermint, I can't help but think of my grandfather. I still remember the glass crystal candy bowl that must have housed thousands of peppermints over the many years we visited his house on Borland Drive. I've always had a competitive spirit growing up. Whether playing sports, video games, board games, or cards, coming in second was never an option. However, what my friends didn't know was that I had a secret weapon to my competitive success. That secret weapon was my grandfather. From the early years of my life, my grandpa would train me in multiple disciplines. He was the first person to teach me how to play cribbage, hearts, and his all-time favorite 52-card pickup. As a kid, the thought of playing 52-card pickup sounded very exciting. If it was anything like cribs or hearts, I'd be sure to enjoy it. However, this was my grandpa we're talking about. His version of fun was convincing me to play a game where he takes a full deck of 52 cards and throws them all across the dining room floor yelling, "52-card pickup!" I can still remember his deep belly laugh as he watched me scramble across the floor picking up all 52 cards. Let's just say that was the first and last time I've ever played that game with my grandpa. My grandpa was also the first man to teach me how to play darts. At the tender age of about 6 years old, I began recklessly throwing pointed projectiles towards a dartboard. However, instead of me proclaiming to hit the bullseye, it was completely plain as day that I wasn't very gifted at darts through the thousands of visible holes in my grandpa's basement wall. But in good old typical grandpa fashion, he didn't care much about the many hours of work preparing my misfortunes. He was simply happy that I was having a fun time learning a new hobby. And over the years, I began getting good at darts. I even received my very own dartboard one Christmas at my grandparents' house. And thanks to my grandpa's mentorship, patience, and willingness to give a rowdy 6-year-old a pointed projectile, I was quickly and easily defeating any and all challenges from my friends who were claiming to be the king of darts. There seems to be a common theme when we all think of my grandfather. That's joy. To this day, I cannot remember a time when he was angry or upset. On the contrary, he would work endlessly to ensure the happiness of those around him. There is no better recollection of this than when my grandpa designed and built 2 mini-putt holes in his backyard for my sister and I. I can still remember how excited I was when he first introduced us to the new 2 par 3s. As an avid fan of cashews, he found an ingenious way of recycling those old cashew cans by turning them into mini-putt holes. I remember spending countless hours together practicing our inner Tiger Woods. Great times indeed. Grandpa was a man who set a lasting impression on everyone he met. It brings me great joy to know that my 2 children, Camille and Addison, 5 and 7, were blessed with his presence for small but impactful times of their lives. The hours of laughter my grandpa shared with my wife Julie will forever hold a spot in our heart. Boy, did he love her too. And for myself, to say that I am lucky to be one of his 2 grandchildren is truly an understatement. It is a blessing that I am truly grateful for and will be for the rest of my life. To have him as a grandpa for the last 37 years, I couldn't have been any luckier. Grandpa, may you rest in peace.
I was told this is the first eulogy you write and present, but it's excellent. It is very good, Michael. It's not easy to come up here and share the eulogy. Congratulations. Very nice homage to your grandfather. Well done. Dan, I'd invite you to share your eulogy now with us.
Excellent job, Michael. Très bon job. Well, I have a reputation to maintain, and that is as a provider of long eulogies. So Let's start out. First off, thank you for being here. It's a tough time for the family, and we appreciate it. Merci d'être venu partager ces moments difficiles avec nous. Je salue ma parenté qui se sont rassemblés à Chicoutimi ou à Toronto pour nous écouter. Hier, j'ai parlé avec mes tantes Arlette et Pierrette et ils ont exprimé leur sympathie au nom de toute la famille. C'est clair que mon père était bien aimé. Et moi, je me sens chanceux d'avoir toujours une telle famille qui nous tiendra à cœur, peu importe le destin des choses. Malheureusement, comme vous le savez, ma mère est décédée l'été passé. Mon frère Bob est décédé en 2014 et ma sœur Hélène en 2018. Mais eux aussi sont avec nous, sauf en esprit. Ironically, this was another coincidence, but today is Family Day in Ontario, and we're sharing it with family, but not the way we intended. And also, it's my mom's birthday, if she were still with us, which we hadn't thought about until we started writing our eulogies, and then it was like, oh, okay. So, I guess one way to look at it is that, my mother is reunited with her husband of 62 years, and that's her birthday present today. Alors, j'ai des amis qui ont perdu un parent à un jeune âge, comme ma mère, qui a perdu son père à l'âge de 11 ans. Et moi-même, j'ai donc jamais eu la chance de rencontrer mon grand-papa Tremblay. Donc, je comprends que je suis chanceux que mes parents ont été avec nous pendant toutes ces années. Je suis vraiment chanceux. Dad was born in 1934 during the Second World War. And they actually did have horse-drawn wagons back then because Dad told me that they would go through the streets of Montreal selling ice and coal. Both of my dad's parents are from the Gaspé. Dad had 5 siblings, most of whom predeceased him: Carl, Alan, Gary, Sheila, and Marion. And his dad was a stevedore at the Port of Montreal, and his mother was a homemaker. So like my mom, my dad came from a modest background, but was instilled with good values and a strong work ethic. Following the example of his brother Gary, who fought in the Korean War, my dad joined the military as a young man, a career he continued for 30 years until he retired as a warrant officer in the Air Force. Initially, my dad was posted to West Germany and served on the front lines of the Cold War, and I'm glad that he never had to serve in a hot war. Après plusieurs années en Allemagne de l'Ouest, mon père a été transféré à Bagotville. C'est à Bagotville qu'il a rencontré une très jolie Irma Marie Tremblay de Grande-Bay. Papa était un anglophone, comme j'ai dit l'été passé, sauf qu'il était catholique, donc acceptable. Je dis ça pour rire. En plus, il était un Québécois de Montréal. Glenn et Hélène sont nés à Chicoutimi, donc c'est des Bleuets du Saguenay, tandis que moi et Bobby, on est nés en Alberta. Notre chemin nous a aussi amenés en Abitibi, en Nouvelle-Écosse et à Ottawa. Et je dirais qu'on a passé 10 ans très spéciaux au Saguenay où on a pu connaître nos tantes, nos oncles et nos cousins puis nos cousines. My dad's trade was in armaments. After he retired, he worked for the Department of National Defense as well. In his final years, he was deaf in one ear and blind in one eye. The hearing damage was caused by years of work on the flight lines, arming and scrambling jet fighters to intercept approaching Soviet bombers. I was proud of what my dad did for Canada and for NATO. When I think of my dad, the words that come up are cheerful, kind, generous, welcome, open-minded, calm, rational, intelligent, and hardworking. And he gets credit for putting up with my loud music when I was a drummer in high school. I think my dad, as Glenn said, provided a loving and supporting home for us, my dad and my mom, for us as we were growing up. Of course, there was some drama. If you have 4 military brats in one house, there will be some drama. But overall, I did feel supported, safe. I had opportunities to pursue sports. They supported me to go to university and pushed me hard to get good marks, which I sometimes achieved. In short, I think that they worked very hard to ensure that their kids were better off than they were when they were young, and in that they succeeded. Like a good wine, my dad mellowed with age. Becoming a grandpa to Melissa and Michael was a delight for him, and welcoming Melissa's partner Adam and Michael's wife Julie with open arms was a delight, and even better was becoming a great grandpa for Camille and Addison. So I think that's a nice stage of life that he appreciated. I have fond memories of my dad taking us camping, fishing. I think you saw some of the photos. Camping, fishing, swimming. When we lived in Nova Scotia, he'd drive us to the Bay of Fundy to get live lobsters. We'd throw them in the trunk. They'd be crawling around, and we'd put them in a pot, and they would sing. I'm not sure how that works, but we convinced him to go whitewater rafting on the Ottawa River. In the Saguenay, he would take us skidooing, when I was in Nova Scotia, I was the only kid who had, me and my friends would go tubing down the rivers, and I was the only kid who had a anti-submarine airplane inner tube. So the inner tube of the Argus is about this big, and unfortunately I didn't get wet at all, so I had to dive in to cool off, but everyone else had regular car tires. Just cheap things. And also, with your dad, like being in the military, you have every year Air Force Day or Army Day. So I got to fly in an Argus anti-submarine plane over the Bay of Fundy. It was incredible. So it was kind of a privileged window into kind of that part of our national defense and security. The other thing is, Dad did, I would say, all the things that you want your father to do and be there for you. He didn't disappoint me. Just mundane things, but he helped me install my dishwasher, re-roof my garage. When I needed a ride, he was there. Maintenant, j'avoue que mon père nous a forcément introduits à la musique country. Pour un jeune rocker comme moi, c'était pas facile. Je pense même aux chansons. Je pense que les chansons de Conway Twitty m'ont traumatisé. Mais avec le temps, je ne l'ai jamais dit à mon père. Je ne suis pas sûr s'ils peuvent nous entendre comme c'est là. Mais avec le temps, j'ai appris à même peut-être apprécier une couple de chansons country. Enfin, plusieurs. Puis, fin de compte, mon band, on en a fait une couple. Puis, on les a changés un peu, mais il y en a que j'aime. Mes parents se sont aimés jusqu'au décès de ma mère l'été passé. Mon père a souffert de la démence progressive dans ces dernières années, mais je sais que ma mère lui a manqué beaucoup. Il y a quelques mois que je lui ai amené une photo de ma mère encadrée, puis tout de suite, il a pris la photo puis il a donné un gros bec. Malheureusement, la pandémie a fait en sorte que mon père s'est retrouvé plus seul et plus isolé qu'autrement, comme ma mère. Enfin, comme tous les aînés, ceux et celles qui ont été pris, effectivement pris dans la maison d'âge d'or sans avoir la présence de leurs proches. Ça, c'est triste. Like my mom, my dad suffered from my brother's death and my sister's passing. And not long after my sister passed away, my dad's own poor health required that he be placed in a long-term care home. So we brought him to the Pearly Rito Veterans Health Center. And of course, my dad being a veteran, he was surrounded by former servicemen and women. My mom joined him in the same complex later the same year, albeit in different buildings. And I just would like to salute the Pearly for the great job they did in taking care of my parents under very difficult circumstances with the pandemic. It was hard for me to visit them and see their decline, but it was the least I could do after all they had done for me. I'd take my dad outside in his wheelchair to the duck pond, or we would grab a beer at the Pearly pub, or we would just sit in the sun and chat. He loved being outdoors. I also hosted a Thanksgiving dinner in the fall, at which the whole family got to spend one last holiday with my dad. And I'm told that the turkey and stuffing were pretty good too. I can tell you my dad ate nonstop for 2 hours. We had to bring him home in a wheelchair. Of course, we do that every other day, but this time it was heavier. Glenn had us over, I don't know if he mentioned, but recently to watch mixed martial arts and feast on Chinese food over the fall. That was a lot of fun. And the good thing is that, his condo building is wheelchair accessible, unlike my house, which was very treacherous, bringing my dad into the house without ramps. But I'm glad we did those things and we took advantage of those opportunities. In the old days, my dad would have us over to watch the Grey Cup. That was kind of a tradition. And these are things you take for granted until you can't any longer. Let me say I'm grateful rather to my dad's wonderful friends that they've had over the years, Bill and Kathy Windler, Norm and Ghislaine Duguay, Peter and Celine, who are here with us as well, Mark and Don Simon, Bill and Judy Ajowski, and the list goes on. And without good friends to support you in times good and bad, life would be much diminished. And for that, I'm grateful to my own friends, too, for being in my corner. In closing, yes, it's over. In closing, I'd like to introduce the next song. Alors, j'aimerais introduire la prochaine chanson. C'est une chanson que mon père adorait. Ça s'appelle Wichita Lineman de Glenn Campbell. So the next song, Wichita Lineman, was written by Jimmy Webb. I thought it was written by Glenn Campbell, but no. It was written by Jimmy Webb in 1968 and recorded by many, many artists. But I would say my favorite version is the Glenn Campbell version of the same year. My dad loved to sing this when I would put it on in the car. He would just belt it out. And he, was a regular participant at the bi-weekly karaoke events at the Pearly. When I would push Dad down the hallways of the Pearly, he would just sing out loud, and people would just smile, and the staff would say, "Chester's our favorite." And one thing to note is that Dad sang in key, so which is not always the case. And so it turns out 2 of Dad's sisters used to sing in bars in Montreal when they were younger. Who knew? In 2010, the Rolling Stone magazine listed this song as number 195 of the greatest songs in the world, and the BBC referred to it as one of those rare songs that seems to somehow exist in a world of its own, not just timeless, but ultimately outside of modern music. Through this song, I can picture my dad, like the Wichita lineman, still on the line, that's a telephone line, able to hear us through the wire, and the wire being the eternal love that binds us all. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
I am a lineman for the county, and I drive the main road, searching in the sun for another overload. I hear you singing in the wire, I can hear you through the whine, and the Wichita lineman is still on the line. I know I need a small vacation, but it don't look like rain. And if it snows, that stretch down south won't ever stand the strain. And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line. And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line.
Thank you very much, Dan, for the very nice eulogy. You've done a wonderful job. Your mom and dad are looking down, very proud. Nothing is more shocking, emotional, or final than the death of a loved one, as we all know, for facing the passing of someone you love. Your mother, your father, a sister, a brother, a grandfather, a grandmother, a friend, is one of life's most difficult experiences. And unfortunately, one we go through more than once in our lives. Your head is spinning with so many thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You can't grasp that you've had your last visit, last conversation, your last meal with your loved one. You want to say, I love you one more time, and you want it said to you as well. But your warehouse of memories is filled with fond remembrances, as you have shared with us. And you are holding tightly to the treasured collection of fading photographs. So look beyond this moment of grief to a future with love and support from your friends and family. It is tempting to think that if we could get answers to our questions that plague us, like why him, why her, why now, it might make grieving a bit easier, but these questions are not answerable. They are secrets in the mind of destiny and therefore mysteries to us. But the key to comfort and peace is time and hope. La mort d'un être cher est difficile à accepter parce qu'elle nous enlève ce que nous avons de plus précieux. Et le deuil, c'est un processus qui n'a pas de temps limite. Ça prend le temps que ça prend pour retrouver la force, le courage, la paix, mais surtout l'espoir. L'espoir de savoir que nos êtres chers reposent en paix et l'espoir que nous allons retrouver une sérénité. All that has life has its beginning and its end, and life exists in the time span between life and death. And life's significance lies in the experience and the satisfaction we achieve in that lifespan. And that is quite obvious this morning from the eulogies that Marie and Chester have had this beautiful lifespan together. Chester is reunited with his wife Marie and his children Helen and Robert. So you do have a few angels looking out over you and supporting you. And I know that they are seeing and hearing everything today. C'est le temps de la séparation, mais non pas celui de l'oubli. Ces années de vie germent maintenant dans notre mémoire. Nous avons célébré la vie de Chester Et nous avons découvert une présence radieuse pour éclairer notre route. Nous avons ressenti l'importance d'une vie qui a côtoyé la nôtre. Nous pouvons, maintenant, le laisser partir et continuer notre route en sachant que notre cœur est habité par sa présence précieuse. Que toute marque d'affection, tout geste d'amitié que vous donnerez et que vous recevrez soit un geste, un signe de cette paix qu'ensemble nous avons cherché au cours de cette célébration. On behalf of the family, I thank you for being here at the funeral home or virtually with us. Your acts of love, your words of kindness, and your warm embraces do help the family with the grieving process. Un sincère merci à vous tous qui avez témoigné aujourd'hui la célébration pour Chester. In a few moments after the last song, you are cordially invited to stay here at the Heritage Funeral Home to share a lunch with the family, where you may continue to remember and share family memories. But before the last song, I would like to share one last poem with you. For someone who meant so much and loved by all he knew, who left behind a trail of tears and precious memories too. We loved the sunshine in his smile and the kindness in his heart. But heaven saw that he was tired, which meant we had to part. And now, dear angels, hear our wish. Please guard him with your gentle wings and tend him with great care. For he was someone wonderful, and words just can't convey how much we wish that he was here with us once more. So thank you very much for this morning, your presence. And let us listen to the last song by John Denver, Sunshine on My Shoulders.
Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. If I had a day that I could give you, I'd give to you a day just like today. And if I had a song that I could sing for you, I'd sing a song to make you feel this way. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water look so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. If I had a tale that I could tell you, I'd tell a tale sure to make you smile. If I had a wish that I could wish for you, I'd make a wish for sunshine all the while. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Sunshine on the water looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high. Sunshine almost all the time makes me high. Sunshine almost all